All right, let's talk spirituality. I have a friend of mine, great gal, who once commented or confided in me that she doesn't have time to be spiritual. She has too much on her plate. She's a young mother, she's on the blow and go, she's a professional. She just doesn't have the time to put in to get the benefits of being spiritual. And I totally resonate with that. I totally get and understand, but it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And here's why I think it's bullshit. And I have actually 7 little tips that I do for my spirituality that you may want to look at. You can use any of these tips you want to, you can modify them, or you could use none of them. But this is how I stay spiritual. And this is why I think it's bullshit when you say you don't have time to be spiritual. The first thing you got to do before we even begin is you got to fix your definition. You get to define your spirituality. It's a state of mind. It's not a task list. It's not do this to get this. I want you to think about spirituality is not perfection. Spirituality is growth. Okay. And we're all capable of growth. We are human beings. We're very spiritual. We're created to be spiritual. So, altering your definition from a task list of do this to get that into just being aware of your growing and aware of your spirituality will help you as you go on your journey. One of the first things that I do to make me feel spiritual every morning is what I call the first thought. The first thought I can muster out of my mind as I'm waking up in the morning is I cannot wait for the day. I'm excited what you're going to show me. Now, do I always feel excited? No. Sometimes I'm drooling and I can barely get my head off the pillow, but that's not the point. That is my first thought. I am excited about the day. I cannot wait for what you're going to show me. That's number one. That's number one. Number two thing that I do that helps me with my spirituality is what I call water whispers. I have a wonderful cup that I love. After I have my first thought, I brush my teeth, wash my face, I go fill it up with water. But before I start hydrating myself, I breathe into that water. I whisper into that water all the things that I want for my life and for the day. So that's my prayer as it goes into the water. Um, I chug that water down, very spiritual. It's a great way to um, pray, to get your day started, and to stay hydrated. Another thing I do that makes me spiritual is I wash it down the drain. So in as I'm getting ready for the day, if I'm taking a shower before my day begins, I will get ready and put on all the energy that I need to as I'm in the shower and I'm washing away the energy that I don't need. At the end of the day, I'm doing the same thing. All this old energy, all this energy that I no longer need, I'm washing it off down the drain. All I'm doing is taking a shower, but guess what? I'm cleansing myself. I'm becoming new. I'm revitalizing and I'm focused on my spirituality. Very spiritual. The fourth thing I do is what I call guns of gratitude. Now, this is key. This is important. I'll talk more about this later. Guns of gratitude is going to be your biggest weapon as you go, as you go along in your spirituality. There's a couple of ways to practice the guns of gratitude, and one thing I like to do is I practice it when I eat. I call it grub gratitude. As I'm eating my meal, I stop and I thank and I'm grateful for. It's going to nourish my body. It's going to strengthen me. It's going to give me energy. I taste the food. I try not to multitask and eat at the same time, although we're all busy and I know it's hard to do. But I make a point to specifically focus on eating and being gratitude for it. Another time you can be grateful is when you're sitting in the car after you've dropped off the kids or after you've done this or done that. When you're in the car, if you're sitting, if you're sitting, of course you're sitting. Go ahead and start naming some of the things that you're grateful for. Think about what you're grateful for. Don't try to make it something honorable or something beautiful. You can't go wrong. If you're grateful for farting because it makes your stomach feel better, then have gratitude for farts. Be truly grateful. There's no wrong way to do it. Are you grateful for the music? Are you grateful for the air conditioning? Whatever makes you grateful, that's when you're just sitting there, just sitting in that gratitude. You can do in other places that you're sitting. When you're sitting on the toilet, you can sit in gratitude as well too. Um, the fifth thing I do is take a freaking breath. I am the worst about recognizing that I am holding my breath. I'm tensing up. I'm getting either too anxious, I'm getting too worried. What I do is I stop and take a freaking breath. I loosen up those shoulders. I relax that jaw. I unknit that brow. I take in a full breath and say thank you on the way out. To regularly take a breath, I'm trying to train myself that I need to take a conscious breath every time I glance at the clock or at watch. So when I'm checking the time, that means it's time for me to take a freaking breath. Very spiritual. The sixth thing I do is I dabble in my passion. So I love music. So I have to put on some invigorating, energizing music. Now, there's music for cleaning the house, there's music for getting dressed for work, there's music for uh, relaxing. But music is my passion. But maybe your passion is painting. Maybe you need to dabble a little bit in drawing or doodle a little bit. Maybe your passion is writing or reading. And you take that moment in the day and realize that you were made a creative, spiritual person who's meant to express their passion. And you get to play with your passion, even if it's just for a few minutes. Maybe your passion is dancing, or maybe your passion is singing. So, singing in the shower, singing as you get dressed for work, singing, dancing in the kitchen as you prepare your meal. Those are ways to dabble a little bit in your passion. And then the seventh thing I do is I tell that head chatter when it gets negative to fuck off. It's fuck off, positive thoughts only. All right, so our minds will sometimes play a game with us and tell us, you're not good enough, you're not getting enough done, you're not strong enough, you're gonna fail. What are you thinking? This is crazy. I tell that head chatter to fuck off. As a matter of fact, I've given that head chatter a name. I call her Chantal. And Chantal, sometimes I tell her, fuck off, don't talk to me that way. It's getting where Chantel is now helping me. Chantel is now, instead of putting me down, she's starting to warn me or help me recognize things I need to look at. So we're going to tweak and turn that head chatter into something that works for you. And that is so that you can hear, the voice of God, the voice of source. So very spiritual. These seven things, my first thought, my water whispers, my washing it down the drain, my guns of gratitude, taking a breath, dabbling in my passion, and recognizing negative chatter and telling it to fuck off are easy. These take no time at all. They're a mindset. So we don't really have an excuse for saying that we don't have time to do it or we'll do it later. You are a very spiritual person. You can't help but be spiritual. Every breath that we take is a miracle. So take those guns of gratitude, take those little seven tips, model it for your own, and go out there and be the spiritual you because you have plenty of time to do it.